Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Monday night, November the 18th. Lovely to have you here for another episode of the Primetime program. We are going to dive in to the injustices wrought against Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, the blatant disrespect that has been levied against him, not by the league, not by his fans, not by the defensive backs for the Minnesota Vikings. No, by his own team. The Titans have actively disrespected this man, blatantly disrespected this man, and I think it's time for them to make it right. We're going to talk exactly about how the Titans can do right by NWI after blatantly disrespecting him, because the title says "and for blatantly disrespecting him." Bert, you should probably correct that at your earliest convenience. But we will work our way through these things together, as is the custom, and we will talk about Nick Westbrook-Ikhine and all the good things that he has done for this football team. We'll do the In Case You Missed It segment with Bert before we pitch it on over to Monday Night Football between the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys, where pieces of AT&T Stadium are falling from the rafters. Fortunately, no one was harmed in the situation there at AT&T, but they could have been on Friday. I mean, people were harmed on Friday night at AT&T Stadium, but that's just because we're all stupid enough to watch that awful Tyson Fury fight or Tyson Paul fight. But that's neither here nor there. We're happy to have your participation, as is always the case. We are also happy to have you guys and more of you when you share this broadcast around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch, wherever you are spending your time here with us. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share. You can share now to public. That is in the bottom left. And if you're on YouTube or Twitch, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please text the link to a friend and tell them to do the exact same. We would be grateful for your participation that way while we talk about the most reliable playmaker on this team. That, of course, is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, just like we all had down. With that being said, more of you guys will trickle in here as we get rolling. But in the meantime, I'll go ahead and get this bad boy started so we can get you over to Monday Night Football in time. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN. Get in on all the action that Zen Sports can provide with that promo code and all the best things that will be provided to you that way. Also, True Math Fitness in the Gulch, where your first workout is free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, no workout ever recycled, no workout ever repeated, just the best workout in Middle Tennessee at TrueMathFitness.com. Of course, also by the Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at TwoRiversFord.com for more information. They will put you in the driver's seat for the car buying process and make it fast, easy, and fun at TwoRiversFord.com. So, many of you hated Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. You didn't hate him personally, but you hated the idea of him, right? Many of you. And if you're sitting here thinking, well, not me, it could never have been me, how could I ever disrespect this sweet, sweet summer child that is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, the most reliable playmaker on the team? I would hearken back to just last year, where you're looking at the roster and you're saying, how could this guy be wide receiver 2 again? How can we go through as a professional NFL franchise and have an undrafted rookie free agent out of Indiana as a wide receiver 2, as DeAndre Hopkins running mate? Oh, what a terrible injustice. And this has been his deal. This has been his byline for 5 years here. People have disrespected him. People have not wanted him. People have discounted his contributions to the team, and all this bad MFR, I almost said the words, all this dude did is just stay quiet, stay consistent, and work his ass off to make sure that he can be ready for opportunities whenever they might come their way. And there was no greater disrespect than by his own team this year with the new coaching staff coming in, because at least Vrabel and Robinson, over the course of their careers here, they understood that Nick Westbrook-Ikhine had value. They understood that he was a worker. They understood that he had the right intangibles to get the job done at a reasonably high rate, or at least be a high-level special teams contributor, which is how he made the roster out of COVID. Even though he was not a good receiver, he actively fought the football in midair. It looked, I mean, he put up more of a fight against the football than Mike Tyson did against Jake Paul over the weekend. It just felt like it was so hard for him to make routine catches as an undrafted rookie free agent in the COVID year. And then he continues to progress. He makes plays on special teams. He finds his way into the lineup because injuries are a thing. And people are looking around and saying, oh, how could they, have such a poor roster that this guy is who they consistently have to come back to be wide receiver too. And all he's done is be the best insurance policy that any of you have ever taken out on your football team at any given point in time. It's crazy to me how the disrespect has not continued, but finally come full circle to the point where you understand you need him. You need him so bad. You need him so bad. And in fact, if you had him in the lineup, if your coaching staff did not actively disrespect this man this calendar year at the start of Brian Callahan and Tyke Tolbert, the wide receivers coach, and everybody else who was playing Traylon damn Burks over this man, all he did was say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to get upset about it. I don't necessarily love the situation that I've been put in. I think that I'm more valuable to the team than that, but it's just my job to go out there and prove them right. And that's exactly what he has done yet again. So with everything that Boss Man says doesn't matter that he's overperforming, still need to draft a receiver early in the draft. Nobody said that you didn't have to do that, but you have to keep this player because he's not overperforming. He's out there kicking ass. He has overperformed his entire life. Overperforming is now the standard for Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. I'm not saying that removes your need for a legitimate playmaker with a bunch of wide receivers that are 30 plus at this point in their career, with Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd on a one-year deal and DeAndre Hopkins out of the picture and Traylon Burks. Not that I wish for anybody to lose their job or anything like that. I just hope he gets a job somewhere else on another NFL roster because I don't want to see him back in the lineup for this team, especially at that man's expense. So I think all these different things should be taken into account, and it is blatant disrespect that the Tennessee Titans have presented to NWI, but now is the time to make it right. Maybe not now, immediately now, but this year is the time to do right by NWI, and we're going to work our way through those things together. So the question that I will ask you is this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. In the comment section, if you are inclined to engage there, the Titans, fair or foul? The Titans should sign NWI to a multi-year contract extension. Let me know how you feel about it. Fair or foul, that's all you need to respond. If you want to add some additional context to your response, you are more than welcome to do so. But the prompt is this: fair or foul? The Titans, at year's end, need to give this guy a multi-year contract. We will discuss at length together right after I remind you that the Primetime program and your Two Rivers Ford take is made possible by the South's most trusted Ford dealer. That's Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Quality American-made Ford vehicles, award-winning customer service is on offer only at the South's most trusted Ford dealer. That is, of course, Two Rivers Ford. So, fair or foul, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, he deserves a contract, multi-years, at the end of this season. Rashid says fair. Jerome says for sure, playing like a number 2 wide receiver. Corey agrees. Jesse agrees. Jim agrees. Jerome follows it up saying he agrees, as does Chosen on YouTube today. I don't see a single one of you saying foul at this point based on, God, man, these spammers, Bert, are on another level tonight. This is the third one that I've had to ban in real time whilst trying to do the show. Thank you for your assistance back there. I'm sure you're enjoying a good game of NCAA while I'm blocking the spammers that you're supposed to be blocking. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The only real pushback I see on this idea is from Boss Man, who says, so tell me again how many teams that were lined up trying to sign him again when he hit the market. That doesn't matter. What are you, a sheep? Like, that's the dumbest explanation of, well, nobody else wanted him. Why would we? What kind of stupid shit is that? You know why you should want him? Because you've actually developed a wide receiver. Isn't that your whole thing? Isn't your franchise cursed at that position? And I know that A.J. Brown and the curse of A.J. Brown and all these different things continue to haunt you in reasonable ways. But you don't have A.J. Brown anymore. There's no Derek Mason. There's no Drew Bennett. There's no Corey Davis even on this roster that's coming to save you. The logic of, Well, nobody else wanted him. Why should we? That's exactly why you should want him, because you actually did the thing. You actually did the thing that your franchise never does. It developed a wide receiver. He's legit. And you want to just say, well, now I don't want him because nobody else wanted him. I'm not going to call you stupid because I don't do personal attacks, but I will tell you directly that you are displaying the behavior of somebody who is stupid, and you need to be grabbed by the shoulders and shaken because for decades, you have talked to me. You have not decades with me, obviously. I've only been here. Actually, we are coming up on a decade, which is pretty crazy to think about, which also makes me reevaluate my life decisions. But that's neither here nor there. For decades, though, you as a fan base have talked about, well, the wide receiver position is something that we can never get right. We don't develop them. We don't keep them. We don't draft them. What have you? Okay, well, you found a UDFA who's better than anybody on a consistent basis. On a consistent basis, I would add. He's not more talented than Calvin Ridley, and Calvin Ridley is starting to produce at a high level, or a reasonably high level based on his contract value that you paid out. But you finally got one of these, and I know it's one person. I'm getting upset at one person where the rest of you were on the same page that I'm on. So I don't, I'm gonna check my blood pressure, make sure that we're all good. I don't want to just bury all of you because I'm yelling at this one person who is displaying the dumbest behavior that I could think on this particular topic. Doesn't mean that you're dumb on every topic, but you're dumb on this one. NWI, it is 100% fair that he deserves a multi-year contract extension at the end of this thing. Doesn't have to be for 5 years, doesn't have to be for 10 years. You can give him a 2-year deal, and I would be satisfied with that. But you damn well should, because all he does is make plays for you. And you're going to hear from the guy himself here in just a second on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch in the comment section. Rhett Berrigan says, no way. I remember when you were introduced to the show. No way it's been that long. Well, Primetime is 5 years old, but I have been in Nashville. Next year is going to be 10 years for me. 2015 was when I graduated college. I moved down here that summer, May of 2015. So May of this year, or no, August is when I moved down here. August of 2015 will be, or August of 2025 will be a decade of me here, not covering the team. This is my 8th season covering the team, and A to Z didn't hire me until I was, I think, 3 seasons in. Vrabel's second year was my first year with the company. I was working overnights at 102.5 out of college for pennies on the dollar, and working midnight to 6 a.m. and covering the Titans during the day because they didn't have any, but there was no Tehran. PK worked at the Zone, so the ESPN station didn't have an ESPN reporter on staff that they could use. So that was how I got my job, which worked out great for me swimmingly after the fact. But it has been a very, very long time at this point. I've lived in Nashville. I mean, here's the thing that you guys are going to hate. I'm a Tennessean. I've been a Tennessean now for a decade. I've lived in Nashville more than any other place, longer than any other place that I've ever lived in my entire life. You're stuck with me, or at least, you're stuck with me for the next 4 years, which is how long my contract lasts. Anyway, so with everything going on with NWI, fair or foul, when should they extend him or give him a multi-year contract at season's end? The answer to that is unequivocally yes. You're going to hear from Nick right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Go to GaryAshton.com. Get your dream address without the stress. Get the intel edge you need to succeed at GaryAshton.com. So we had a press conference with several players and Brian Callahan today. I wasn't at the press conference because it was during the radio show, so I did not attend said press conference. But Nick Westbrook-Ikhine was one of the players that volunteered to speak or was asked to speak and did so because he just does what he's told and he does it at a high level. And he had a very insightful press conference today about all the different things that have led him to this point.
Him go crazy, excuse me, the way he did after that call on Mike Brown, like, does that kind of reinforce what you're saying as far as like how it hurts him so much and how much you can tell he cares?
Yeah, I mean, it reinforces what I said. Like, he believes in his guys and he wants the best for all of us. Like, a week or two ago, when Mike ended up having to play more when Q went down, he was the first person to shout out Mike for making those plays to help win that game against the Patriots. And so he's got his back in that situation where, a call that could go either way. And, I feel like it was the right thing to do, and it's exactly what I'm talking about. He cares.
He's talked a lot about getting better beneath the surface and progress and all that stuff. How do you kind of grade what progress looks like in a season where obviously 2-8 is not where you want to be, but you're kind of building to something bigger?
Yeah, I guess there's no moral victories, right? I talked about that yesterday. But I did hear a buddy of mine last night. I was just talking, he had like a book release, and he was talking about how growth isn't always linear. And that was my initial thought when you say that. Like, it's not always linear. Obviously, we want to be winning, and that's what growth is measured by in this league. But the fact that guys are still fighting and still being resilient, I think that's something we can tip our hats on and see if that, eventually those scales will tip.
Out of curiosity, Nick, what percentage of the plays called for you are NWI go routes? Do you know?
I'm not sure, no.
So that is Nick Westbrook-Akina speaking at the podium today. The question is, fair or foul, should the Titans give NWI a multi-year contract at the end of the season? The answer to that is unequivocally yes. Now, here's the only reason why I would say, the answer to that is unequivocally fair based on the prompt fair or foul. The only reason that I would say foul is because I want that guy to go win. I want that guy to go play somewhere else. I want him to, he's not Derrick Henry or A.J. Brown or any of these other high-level players that have gone on and left the Titans to go and have more success. But, NWI to me is of the same class as Elijah Molden or a Bud Dupree. Bud was obviously a bit of he was definitely a player with a higher pedigree or a better pedigree coming out of the draft process. He's I believe Bud was a first-round pick out of Kentucky in his draft year, if I'm not mistaken. And NWI is an undrafted rookie free agent from a school that wasn't a football school until this very year. And Nick Westbrook-Akina got out of there 5 years ago and was telling you that this was something that he was going to be able to do at a high level. As the Texans score the first touchdown of the game, Joe Mixon finds the end zone at Jerry World, keeping track of Monday Night Football for a 45-yard rushing touchdown here tonight on ESPN between the Cowboys and the Texans. But for Nick, I think a multi-year contract is fair. He has taken contracts at value. The last couple of years, he has been paid like a former undrafted rookie free agent. In the last 2 years, where he signed, so his contract initially, I wonder if I can find his rookie contract terms. Let's see. So his first year in 2020 was 1 year, $610,000 as a restricted free agent or as a undrafted rookie free agent. Then last year he signed a 1 year, $1.26 million contract with Tennessee in free agency. He was a restricted free agent. Then as an unrestricted free agent this past year, he signed a 1 year, $2 million deal with the team, which gives him a cap hit of 1.292. He gets his money guaranteed, $750,000 at signing, and certainly I would imagine that he's got incentives broken down in there as well that would help him see that $2 million. But he's been playing at value every year that he's been here, and now it is time to pay him. Now it is time to pay him when things like this are coming out that boggle the mind. I'm going to read you a tweet from the 33rd team, okay? The number of high-level wide receivers for the mouth-breathing comment earlier by the commenter who said, well, nobody else wanted him. Why would we want him? I still can't get over how stupid that was. Nick Westbrook-Akina has more touchdowns than, and these are all players that other teams wanted. So, again, stupid comment. CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf, Zay Flowers, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, Michael Pittman, Devontae Adams. NWI has more touchdowns than all of them, and the man didn't get a target 4 weeks in. This is why it is so imperative for this franchise at least to make an effort to give him a contract this year. Because, again, I don't think that you're going to be bidding against a ton of teams out there, but there's not a lot of other players on the Titans team in this upcoming free agency than anybody else would want other than Nick. So I'm looking at this and saying they have to make him a competitive offer, if for no other reason but respect, because they were actively disrespecting him. They were blatantly disrespecting him at the start of the year, looking at Burks and a new coaching staff coming in unfamiliar with Burks other than what, they thought they saw on tape. And again, as we talked about with quarterbacks or other positions where there's so much, well, I can fix him in NFL coaching. And that was exactly the same logic that they came in here with this new staff. That was, again, with these spammers, unbelievable tonight. This is the 5th one that I've had to block. Get in there, Bird. Do your job. I'm kidding. That was very rude. But I think that for Nick, him not getting a target until week 5, essentially, because Burks has the better pedigree as a player, is an act of blatant disrespect by this coaching staff that they have since rectified. But here's the thing. Like, think about Will Levis, may have lost the Bears game or may have helped them lose the Jets game or all these other things. But there are catches in there that Burks could have made that could have helped them potentially extend a drive that could have led to points or, at least help put them in position to kick a field goal. God forbid he catch a touchdown, right? All these different things where he is 3 years. Yeah, Burks is a 2022 pick. So he is 3 years into his NFL career. He has 1 receiving touchdown to date at this point. Think about how much more competitive they could have been if NWI was getting those snaps instead of Burks. I maintain that maybe they don't have, a bunch more wins, but I bet that they are at least a 3-win football team or potentially a 4-win football team at this point in the year if Burks is not playing the snaps that Nick Westbrook-Ikhine should have played. He's the more reliable target. He's the more consistent player. I don't think that Burks doesn't work hard. Like, I think Treylon Burks is out there busting his ass on a regular basis, and I wouldn't say that. But it's unbelievable how long they let the Burks experiment go after having a clear and obvious track record of Treylon Burks being insufficient and honestly more damning inconsistent with a more reliable player on the roster who's just out there, playing special teams and busting his ass, doing all the jobs that nobody else wants to do, and saying, whenever they come back to me, because I know they're going to come back to me eventually. That's just how this league works. I'm just going to show them that I can do it. And that's all that he's done. And yes, yesterday was like a crystallizing moment of that, because he's never had, obviously, a 98-yard touchdown reception. But this was one of the crystallizing moments of why Nick Westbrook-Ikhine has earned this contract, or whatever contract, a multi-year contract that will come his way at the end of the year. The bots are back again. They are unbelievable. Bert must be looking at something, nefarious that he should not.
I'll find them off as quick as I can, Captain.
No, you're not. You're playing. You're Nicholls State out here trying to win a championship on NCAA football. I can see you not paying attention. Don't lie to me in the audience. Shame on you. But I think that this was a crystallizing moment yesterday, because not only has he done the job that Titans fans have been trying to fire him from over and over and over again for many, many years at this point, but he gave you one of the few moments this season to get up out of your seat, stand up, and cheer for a player that has done nothing but been slighted at every turn when he's been in the lineup. And we'll play for you that play specifically right after I remind you that Zen Sports is your place to bet on Monday Night Football, Sunday football, Thursday football, all the basketball, the hockey, all your favorite major sports. Zen Sports has you covered. Promo code ATOZTN gets you up to $100 on your no danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and in the state of Tennessee to bet at Zen Sports. If you were betting the over on Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, if you were betting that Nick Westbrook-Ikhine would have led all receivers in yards and touchdowns yesterday, congratulations, you cashed in.
One of the better pass rushers in the league going to work on third down.
Levis taking a shot. He's got Westbrook-Ikhine breaking free. And the Tennessee Titans right back in it. 98 yards.
So that is NWI doing NWI things, doing the most NWI thing ever, which is, again, showing you all the reasons why he deserves money here. Now, what that contract looks like specifically, obviously he's not going to get like Calvin Ridley money, right? Calvin got 4 years, 92 this offseason, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with a 2-year deal that pays that man somewhere in the ballpark of between $8 and $9 million. He's worth every penny of it. He's earned it. He deserves it. He will continue to pay dividends on that, even as you are going to upgrade your wide receiver core through the draft, or at least you should actively try and upgrade your wide receiver core through the draft. They're back again, Bert. These vultures, they're back again. This is unbelievable. We've been hacked at this point. I think that NWI has done the job that he needs to do. He has gone above and beyond the call of duty. I think somewhere in the ballpark of $8 to $9 million on an average annual basis is absolutely what this dude deserves. Absolutely what this dude deserves. And that is the only way, to me, that they can make it right. I was also tagged in a tweet today that I think is worth mentioning here, and I'll read that for you here in just a second. Because it has to do with NWI. You guys get mad at me when I show you AJ Brown stats from time to time on all of this stuff and where AJ or what AJ has done since he departed the Titans. Well, how about this? And this comes from, is it Joseph _ Salov? Oh, I haven't butchered the entire pronunciation of that, but he put together a tweet. I guess that was today at about 11 a.m. A.J. Brown in Week 11, 5 receptions, 65 yards, 0 touchdowns. NWI in Week 11, 2 receptions, 117 yards, 1 touchdown. He also adds to that discussion that NWI in the last 3 weeks, 15 targets, 10 receptions, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Titans have their most reliable, their most consistent weapon on a regular basis. The number of career 95-yard touchdowns that NWI has had, 1, the number that Randy Moss, Andre Johnson, A.J. Brown, DGB all had, 0. This man deserves the money. $8 to $9 million. I think that's high. I don't think he'll get in that range, but that's what he deserves. If he gets a contract somewhere in the ballpark of 5 to 6, I'll be fine with it too. But damn sure I'm going to cape up at every opportunity for Nick Westbrook-Akina, because the guy has been a good soldier throughout. And it is now time to pay the person who has done the most, one of the people who has done the most heavy lifting for you on this football team. And he's done it with a smile on his face. A to Z Sports Prime Time. Well, let me ask you this question first, and then we'll move on in our discussion, and then we'll get you over to Monday Night Football. Where would you rank NWI on the list of Titans playmakers? In the comment section, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch is where you can go. I will remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by TrueMap Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMapFitness.com for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled or repeated. TrueMap Fitness is the place for you in the Middle Tennessee area. Their workouts are phenomenal. They have a variety of different workouts on offer for you. They also have the best coaching staff and a top-notch facility conveniently located in downtown Nashville in the Gulch. Go to TrueMapFitness.com for that first workout free, like I said. And if you're in there on Fridays, I'll see you in there as well. So touchdowns scored by player on these NFL teams. Let's just take a look at the Titans and who leads them in touchdowns at this point. Because the case for NWI only gets stronger the more that you look at his situation. He has been excellent this season, in particular, in a season where they haven't been excellent anywhere across the board, except for a couple of moments, fleeting and far between defensively. Let's just take a look at the touchdown scores for the Titans in this year. For Tennessee, in particular, who has, obviously struggled to find the red zone. So you're not looking at a ton of statistically adept or statistically gaudy players here in the receiving category in particular. This is actually crazy that Jamar Chase has 12 touchdowns on the year and the Bengals have a losing record. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9. George Kittle, 7. These are receiving touchdowns, by the way. Mike Evans, 6. You have a bunch of people who have 6, and then you get to Nick Westbrook-Akina, who is the leading touchdown scorer on the team this year for the Titans. He has 5. He has done it on 15 catches. He averages a touchdown reception every 5 catches. It's crazy. 25 targets, so he's a highly efficient receiver. He's averaging 17.1 yards per reception, which is obviously skewed by that 98-yard touchdown. He has had 2 explosive plays in particular on the year, or 2 plays that would qualify as explosive plays, as 20-plus yard receiving plays, and he is tied for fifth rather in the NFL, with a handful of other players who do have 5 receiving touchdowns as well. But NWI has as many receiving touchdowns as, watch this, Garrett Wilson, Brian Thomas Jr., Justin Jefferson, Mark Andrews, Chris Godwin, who hasn't played in a couple of weeks, understandably, and Alan Lazard of the New York Jets, Darnell Mooney of the Falcons, who have much better quarterback situations, much better offensive situations, do the Tennessee Titans. Where would I rank him? I'd rank him number 1. And I don't think it's close. I think Tony Pollard is been a great player this season, but Tony Pollard has a offensive line problem that Tony Pollard can't do anything about. Now, you would also say, well, the passing game has an offensive line problem that they can't do anything about. But by volume, this dude is the most reliable playmaker that they have on the team. He's not getting the volume that Tony Pollard is, so there's less opportunities for him to make these game-changing plays, and he cashes in on a regular basis. He is as consistent as Tony Pollard is. He's as consistent at wide receiver as Tony Pollard is at running back, and he doesn't have to account for a bad right side of the offensive line that gets Tony Pollard hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on a regular basis. Calvin Ridley, of course, has the higher ceiling, but Calvin Ridley has not been the reliable player that Nick Westbrook-Akina has been on way more volume, on way more snaps, on a way higher percentage of the snaps. Nick Westbrook-Akina is the most reliable playmaker on the Tennessee Titans football team this year. It's not close. I would argue he's most reliable player, full stop, that they have on the football team this year. Outside of Nick Folk, you can make an argument for Nick Folk, who only has 1 field goal missed this year. From 49? It may have been a 50-yard attempt that Folk missed, that Leroy Watson backed them out of field goal position. What was that, last week in LA? Is when he missed that field goal, maybe 2 weeks ago. But I think that when you look at what NWI has done, NWI, based on volume, based on percentage of snaps that he has played, has been the most consistent playmaker for this football team this year. Teddy Powell says, I'm tripping. Disagree. I mean, you're welcome to have your opinion, but there's not a more reliable, not a more consistent player on this football team than Nick Westbrook-Akina this year. If you make an argument for somebody else, you're welcome to do so. You'd be wrong, and I'll argue against you. But there is not a player on this football team that has done their job at a better rate with less of an opportunity to do their job than Nick. That's where he's at this point. Now, we'll welcome Bert in when he's not busy swatting away streaming live chat spammers. He's coming up with things that you may have missed this week in sports. We will go now to Robert Walsh, the primetime correspondent on all things in case you missed it.
On all things in case you missed it. That was swell. And they keep coming. It's not just me. I didn't look up anything I wasn't supposed to. I'm never on work Wi-Fi when I do stuff like that. There's no reason you should blame me.
Stuff like what?
Stuff like what?
Stuff like what?
Stuff like Syracuse head coach Fran Brown discussing his biggest ritual when he loses. Have you seen this?
Yes.
So you've seen this. Fran Brown does not shower after his losses. Only winners get soaked, Buck.
I got like a ritual. Like when we lose, I ain't even getting a shower till early this morning. I just be mad. I just brush my teeth. But it's like I don't deserve soap. I don't deserve to do all that. I'm just focused on like trying to get back and trying to make sure that our players mentally understand and know that I let them down, that they didn't do it. You know, I just wake up all night, especially when you lose. You like wake up like, dang, it really happened. You know, it really happened that way. So it's just different pieces. And then I just move on. There's a process that I follow every week, win, lose, or draw. Only thing is like my wife, I can't sleep in the bed if we lose because I ain't going to get in the shower for that day. I'm just mad and I just sit there. I just brush my teeth. That's what I have to do so y'all won't say my breath stink, but I'm just.
What if we say your pits stink? What are they? Come on. But the other thing I'm going to bring up is I would be so petty if my wife was like, don't sleep in the bed, get in the shower. As soon as she went to sleep, as soon as she was hawk shoeing in there, I would get in that bed and I would just waller in that bed, get it so stanky.
An important clarification, hawk shoeing, which indicates snoring, not hawk tooing, which.
Yes, hawk shoeing, like Yes, thank you. I didn't think people would get that confused, but I'm glad that you set the record straight. Well, you ain't got to worry about that this week, Miss Brown, because Fran got to win, baby.
Enjoy your shower, all right, baby?
Yeah, I'm about to get washed.
I know that's...
Winners get washed.
Maybe she might be hot to it tonight. Who knows? Fran looked like he gonna act up. Ooh, I love that.
That is nasty business. Nasty business.
Come on.
I mean, we have worked with people who smell before. Like you and I have worked with people who smell bad before.
Sure.
And I refuse to be around them, and I yell at them on a regular basis. I will demean them. I will yell at them. I will scream at them. I will inform the proper authorities that they need to be handled and need to be removed from the situation. If you do not wash your ass, you do not belong in a workplace. And I know sports are not the conventional workplace, but you have to wash your ass whether you win or lose, because that is the most disgusting thing. I mean, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard, but it's top 5 most disgusting things I've ever heard. After coaching a game, you won't bathe? Get out of here.
I'm going to admit something to you, Buck. This might take you by surprise. I haven't showered in 3 days. The Ravens loss just took it out of me. I couldn't shower yesterday, didn't shower Saturday, just hadn't showered. Just in here in my own filth. Getting nasty.
I've seen you within a 3-day span, and I know that you would have bathed, because if not, I would have smelled you and I would have yelled at you and berated you and called the proper authorities.
I'm kind of like a mink. You know minks? Minks are they hunt snakes and stuff. My body produces its own oils that kind of hides my scent. So you ain't got to worry about me stinking.
People are now guessing which coworker. Who is Alex Apple? Did we work with an Al? I don't know.
He used to fill in. He used to fill in a little bit. Did somebody say he stunk? Dude, he's like the most white bread dude ever. Like, he probably
I know. That's rude. I know who Alex is.
He probably showers 3 times a day. What do you mean? No, not Mickey Ryan.
How many times? No, Mickey smells
Mickey smelled great.
Mickey's, yeah. No, I mean, you can continue to guess it if you want to. We're not going to tell you. But how many times?
If you guess it, I will.
How many times a day do you bathe?
Once, if that. If I go to the sauna, I will shower after that. Hold on, got to snipe another spammer. Get out of here! Get down, Mr. President! Pa! He's out of here!
My ear. It stings.
once a day, dude. I'd be stinking, then maybe, but like sometimes you just live with it. I feel like it's good for your body germs you know what I mean? Who'd I miss? I ain't missed one.
You got him.
Oh, nope, there's another one. You're right. I did miss one.
I showered 3 times today. I shower when I wake up in the morning. I showered because I went to the health club and I did the sauna today, so I showered at the health club. I shower before I do prime time every night. I shower 3 times a day. I mean, I don't go to the sauna every day, so maybe most days too, but like, I feel like I shower 3 times a day more often than not. I don't like feeling grimy. What's wrong with you?
You got that high red count Egyptian skin that can be washed that much. If I wash my body 3 times a day, my skin would be so dry. I'd be cracking. I'd come in looking like daggum dry mud.
Oh, well, then you need the moisturizer that I use, because the face wash that I use dries me out, but I have moisturizers. Shout out Canvas Skin. They do a great job. I'm going to their holiday party. Perhaps I will bring you back something nice, since you smell so bad and also need to bathe more often.
I'd love that. Goodbye.
MB says 3 showers, stop sweating, Buck. No, I mean, it's not even a sweat thing. It's not like I'm overwhelming. I mean, obviously I sweat when I got into or after I sat in the sauna for 45 minutes, but no, it's just because there's just a general grime in the air, whether it's dust, whether it's, I don't know, it's gross. Bathe. All of you bathe more often. All of you should bathe more often. I don't know how many times a day that you're bathing, but you should bathe more often. Anyway, that's going to do it for us tonight. Radio show tomorrow is going to be fun, 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. We're going to talk about where we think the Vols are going to rank in the college football playoff rankings that will come out tomorrow night. Enjoy Monday Night Football between the Texans and the Cowboys. The Texans now lead on the road 7-0 with 5:04 to play in the first quarter. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville! Go home! Woo!